Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, to episode 11 of the Royal Ramble. I am
Diddles.
Okay, that's a good start. I'm joined by the lovely Jeff.
Lovely, Jeff. What the fuck am I, Vanna White now?
The impeccable Sean.
That's a good word.
And returning to, well, the first time of this podcast, but finally coming back around, we have the abominable Ron.
Ooh, abominable. Abominable. Fuck. I'm not even drunk yet. I can't even say it.
Yet. Yep, that's how you know this one's going to be a party, guys.
I got a wee bit of SoCo here.
SoCo? Ooh.
Yeah,
Gross.
I recently discovered the joy of that. It's good stuff.
Wow.
Alcoholism.
Yeah. I can't open 2 bottles with just my 2 hands.
Herr Rumenheimer. Anyway, so we're going to pick this one up with a little touch on something we covered last week, but I'm going to throw in my 2 cents on this now. We talked a little bit about the Phantom Pain.
Ooh.
Jeff and Sean gave their input, and now that I have it and have played a little bit into it, I was going to throw in my 2 cents.
Literally 0% of it you've played.
I'm at 5%.
Yes.
I'm at 5%.
Ooh.
So 0%.
Yeah.
I actually am curious to hear Ron's opinion of it.
I don't know if he's played it.
I have not.
He has more of an opinion than you do, then, Luke.
I have not played it, most unfortunately, because I don't actually have a television that can play it. I don't have an HD TV. I need to get one. What the fuck is sending me text message?
Probably.
Who am sending text message?
But no, I'm definitely most interested in picking it up. It looks good. I've been hearing things, of course, on the internet to the contrary, because everybody is a negative asshole on the net. But I still want to play it. You know, I've always been a fan of Metal Gear.
I'm going to echo the way that Jeff described it to me, because it really feels like it. It's Peace Walker 2.0, and that's not a bad thing.
No, it looks like a polished Peace Walker.
I thought you were going to say a polished turd.
I don't want to know anything about what you're polishing in your spare time, Ron.
Wow, under a minute, we're already
Bum,
poop
bum, bum,
jokes.
bow.
That's how it's going to be this week. All right, I see. Fucking you fucks.
Is that supposed to be the losing horn from
Yes.
from The Price is Right?
That was a terrible.
If you had been listening to it, you would have heard it correctly the first time instead of trying to play catch up.
Catch up. Anyway, Luke.
I was going to say, I have enjoyed what I've played. As I said, I'm not too far into it. 5% probably sounds like next to nothing, and in this game, it's only a few hours in, so should give you an indication of how huge this game is. But yeah, it's definitely basically a polished Peace Walker. A lot of the same mechanics, a lot more in depth, managing mother base, and as I told Jeff earlier, I got completely sidetracked during a side op earlier and ended up clearing out an outpost that wasn't even remotely relevant, and it took me about 45 minutes to do so for, no reason.
Dude, you got nothing but sidetrack.
Right.
You were telling me earlier you were flying around or running around with kids in America playing on speaker, fucking faulting people.
I don't see how that's a bad thing.
I'm just saying, you're easily distracted.
That's true.
Oh,
Actually, here's a
that
question
reminds me. I need to
pose
put
each
Kids
of
of
you.
America back on my speaker on this.
Yeah. So I want to pose a question to each of you. Jeff, what is your primary song that you use when Pequod's coming in? What's your helicopter song?
Well, I had to restart it because I made the mistake of getting rid of Quiet. But when I did that originally, it was Quiet's theme to and never forget. Now
What's your new waifu?
Luke Brad brought it up, and I'm glad that we kind of echoed it. It's the sound of the man shitting.
Johnny Sasaki?
Yes, the old Johnny Sasaki meme. Good name
That's his name.
Germans.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that question's going to get posed to all of us, so
Yeah,
Sean,
so-
why don't you step in next? What do you use?
I actually don't use a theme. I haven't found one that I really like that hits hard when the helicopter's coming in. I just use whatever the stock song is.
So you don't have the final countdown? Because I could have sworn that's what you would have used.
No,
Oh, okay. Well,
not as big a fan of that song as you would think.
it's a good song though.
It's all right.
I don't have a lot unlocked yet, Ron, but clearly, as Jeff's already stated, it is most definitely Kids of America.
Kids of or kids in?
And that's what I meant to say.
Okay.
Sorry, it's been one of those days.
Nope,
Probably
stop
get
the
it right.
podcast. You already fucked up an 80s song.
Also, Sean, what color is your helicopter?
Whatever the stock color is.
Okay. Jeff, did you change yours at all?
I usually switch between the zebra or the red and black.
Okay. The red and black's nice. I almost went with that until I found hot pink.
Yeah, I know.
That seems entirely appropriate for you.
You made your whole fucking base hot pink. Just as 80s as you can get. Why don't you just start putting your fucking your field agents in mullets?
You should,
And
Jeff,
flock of seagulls haircuts.
Flock of seagulls haircuts.
Jeff, you should tell them about my emblem.
I don't remember what it is. I looked
you
at
gotta-
that
you got a
like
picture
really
of that?
early this morning.
It's pink and purple with a dog tag outline with a crown on top of it, and it says Purple Snake.
I don't know why, but I feel like you should be vaguely ashamed of yourself for that.
I'm not remotely ashamed.
Should
of
probably
myself.
sell your game now.
That's not gonna happen.
Just delete your game file. Just fucking delete it.
That's not gonna happen.
Just delete it.
Not happening.
That's one problem I found I had with the game is you had to, if you wanted to start the game over, you have to delete your save. There's not like another file.
There's no concurrent games.
You lose,
can't save it to a different.
Do you lose all collectibles too?
That's that.
Sean, I said you delete your save. What part of that didn't you
Oh.
understand? You lose everything. You start from absolute zero, which means you have to
Oh.
sit to those fucking tutorials again.
Yikes.
That was fun. This is how you punch a guy, Snake. Really? But overall, yeah, I'm enjoying this game a lot. Pretty much echoing everything Sean and Jeff went into last week, so I won't go too much into it again. But yeah, definitely really good. Check
Well,
it
you
out.
can't go wrong echoing Sean and Jeff, so.
You absolutely can go very wrong echoing Sean and Jeff, but in this case,
We
you'd be
haven't
right.
yet. 10 episodes and we're already perfect. Stunning.
Now you're both warning me.
We've become elites.
On the subject of new games, actually, the other thing that we wanted to start off with was we've all dabbled into the Rainbow Six Siege beta.
Fuck. So far
Yeah.
behind you guys.
Well,
So
I tried
how
to
is-
give you a fucking beta code the other day, but you decided that my text wasn't worth responding to. So
You did what now?
I tried
Hold
to
on.
give.
Ron lost his phone. He doesn't
No,
have text.
I texted you Sunday and asked you what you were doing because we had a spare beta code. We
Oh.
don't now. But
Well, yeah, honestly,
there's-
it wouldn't have mattered either way because no connectivity out here, no television. So
Doug, you got to get that sorted out.
I know I have to get that sorted out. I'm very aware of that, Luke. Yes.
How do your in-laws have no TV?
Well, no, they haven't. They haven't.
No
they
TV
haven't-
for you.
They
Got
have a
it.
television. Yeah, it's just getting the one connected, and getting something that actually has an HDMI connection on top of that is a little bit.
You
I'm
say,
I'm limited out here.
Did you say a
Right.
HDMI?
You heard the man.
That's not how that's pronounced.
Stick a bottle up your ass, Luke.
Oh, no, thank you.
Drain
Could
it.
be one of
It's a whole-
those casts.
This is gonna be
Disgusting.
for the premium subscribers only.
The Royal Rage Ramble.
Slapping our penises against the microphone for 24 hours. It's
That's
subscriber content.
spoilers for next week.
It's a completely different kind of podcast.
$3.99 for a season pass.
$399 for a season pass of our slapping our dicks to the mics?
Hey,
It seems
you know
pretty
what?
fair.
It's premium content. All right. We have a product that we deliver. I'm assuming it's the royal we now because I don't know if I'm ever coming back to this crapshoot, but it's
Well, at least you're honest.
yeah.
Ron's in and out, just like that.
You never knew I was there, just like my wife.
He's
Oh.
as serious as AIDS.
All right, this is getting a little racy. So the Siege beta. I'm gonna pass this one to Sean first. Sean, how do you feel about the Siege beta, sir?
It's like a really decent Left 4 Dead mod.
It's an
Okay.
interesting way of putting it.
It's a pretty shitty fucking game, man.
I'll be sure to send this one direct to Kenshin's inbox.
No, it's a fucking it's shallower than Titanfall, man.
Yeah.
Ouch. Fucking.
I can't even really argue with that. It does seem like it's at least on that level.
You jump in and there's nothing to do except get online with buddies, and that's cool if
Now,
you
to
got a
be
bunch of buddies ready to go all the time.
To be fair, we are talking about the beta. There is a
Yeah,
small,
that's true.
tiny, infinitesimal possibility that this could be different when the game actually comes out. But
You
the
really-
Yeah,
way-
it'd be great if they
Do
added
you
a
think-
fucking single player for those who like story experiences.
Do you think they're going to be bringing at least something akin to Terrorist Hunt
No,
to this
Terrorist
game?
Hunt is in there.
Yeah,
it's in
Terrorist Hunt. Okay.
But that's all we've
Which
played
might be-
because we don't
it-
play PvP.
It's only possible saving grace.
yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't even have even touched the beta if not for Terrorist Hunt, because I care that little for PvP.
And as I said before, it would be an even better incentive for me to rent it or pick it up if they had some retro maps like LVU and Villa and
That'd be pretty cool if they did,
just
man.
those two.
Fucking Villa.
Just those, yeah.
I can't think of anything else that we played at
Nothing
length.
else matters, really.
70,000 hours we spent on Villa.
That is
Christ.
a wholly
That might be accurate.
number. Yeah, I was gonna say that's a
Uh-huh.
wholly accurate
and
number.
twice that on LVU campus.
Yeah.
But then
God.
I can't remember who said it. If Siege sucks, which most likely it's going to.
Back
Hell,
to Vegas 6
We got backwards compatibility coming out soon, so we got both
Get back
Vegas
to Vegas.
go back to.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of echo the sentiments that the guys have said already. But
Fucking better.
it's not
We have no room in this party for deterrence.
it's not a terrible
For naysayers.
it's not a terrible game. There's just not a lot to it. At least from what we see right now. I mean, there's not even
One glaring issue is they only have like a handful of operators, and you can't stack operators. You have to.
only
you
one
know,
of each
no-
basically in a match.
Yeah.
That
Um,
seems a little.
plus-
the enforced diversity kind of makes it a little, crapshoot.
Yeah, especially since there's a couple operators who are just terrible.
Yeah.
Just the
Obviously,
worst.
they didn't want like 5 sledges running around hitting everybody with hammers.
So far, he's
Although
the
that
best, man.
Would be the fucking best thing ever.
I see nothing
The
wrong
shiz knight.
with that. Yeah. Just with enough sledges, I think you can demolish the entire building. That's what they were fearing.
God, I want the destructibility of Red Faction Gorilla in the universe of Vegas. I want that house to be in shambles by the time we're done with it.
Not even the retaining walls are. Anyway, yeah, it's very. There's not a lot to it. As Jeff said, the force division of operators, while it's understandable, just especially right now with there only being like 6 in the beta, is pretty bad. And I mean, my 2 biggest issues, and I understand why at least one of them was done. You don't have the whole cover system that made Vegas, a thing anymore, and that's due to the destructibility in the environments. It's pretty much pointless to have a cover system when the wall can be blown out from behind your ass. So,
Well, not
Just
not
your ass?
necessarily. Yeah, not necessarily. I say that would kind of force people to be more mobile, if anything, and
Which was probably their intention, yeah.
Yeah.
but I mean, that particular cover system is pretty useless when the wall just disintegrates while you're holding a trigger,
But can't that be shored up with the barrier system that they've also been put in place in there? I mean, you can't really
But
destroy that.
we are talking about Ubisoft, so anything that's less work for them. So.
Ubisoft!
But my other big issue is, as Sean and I were talking about this before the beta, and neither one of us has really spoken about it afterwards. What happened to
Sword of
the
secrecy.
persistent elite creation, or AKA, making your own fucking character?
Yeah.
I think that went out the window when they
Yeah,
started putting
fuck
their
your
own
individuality.
people like
man.
Thermite.
Thermite.
Fuse.
That went out the window with the same day fucking Patriots got scrapped.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I really miss having my own gaudy colored elite to throw in there.
Especially with with Kinect being able to do
Yeah, that's
face
true.
mapping and everything, you should be able to go in there and put a picture of Adolf Hitler on your character again.
Notice he
I don't
said
know.
again.
Maybe
I
they'll
was
change
following
some
you
things.
until you put Mein Fuhrer up there.
I'm bringing that up from experiences
Sean, he's not
from
just yours.
Vegas.
He's not just your fear.
Is
Not just
everybody's?
Yes.
friends.
I can't remember who did it, but somebody were playing with
That
scanned.
was Connor. If
Was that Connor?
if it was something remotely stupid or offensive, it was Connor.
Oh, Connor.
That's not even a question. You should know that.
I don't know. We did play with a lot of people on Vegas.
Yeah, but we didn't play with our other big offenders. That was not till later, so it had to have been Connor.
Fair enough. I don't remember that far back to dispute you. Nor do I think we have the time.
No, not really. But anyway, yeah, Siege tentatively. I mean, it's got its moments of fun, and definitely just busting houses down and shit is a riot. But it really overall feels like it's missing at least one or two things that would really make the game. And hopefully they figure that part out and know
Yeah,
it
hopefully.
before they put it out. But it's
Like
not
I
a
said, it felt really a lot, or it felt a lot like Counter-Strike Global
yeah.
Offensive.
It's not a purchase for me yet. I have it on GameFly, so I'll definitely be able to check out the full game and see if there's any changes made. But it's definitely not a purchase for me yet.
Mm.
Which, with the Division looking worse and worse every time I see it, pretty much takes me off of all the Tom Clancy games at this point.
That's unfortunate. I still got my
That's
hopes
again
up for the
Ubisoft.
Division.
Well, the biggest thing for me,
It had a Watch Dogs syndrome where it looked really fucking amazing at first, and then it's
Yeah.
toned down ever since.
well, not only that,
Marketing.
but the last thing, the trailer that they did at E3, where it was basically marketed towards people who are gonna just be fucking dicks to you, is just the worst.
Well, let's be honest. They know their audience.
That's a fair argument.
That is a fair point, and I have no argument to that. But yeah, it's the type of people I don't want to play with, so I'm kind of left wondering who I'm going to play with, because I'm not going to play that game with you fuckers. I can't trust you well enough. So
Our recent,
You'll end up
our past
Netflixing
experiences
it.
with.
You'll end up
Grand Theft
game
Auto
flying
2.
it and fucking playing it.
I know I can't play it with Ron if his and my playthrough of New Super Mario Bros. Was any indication.
Hey.
Yeah.
I will defend my my actions on New Super Mario's to the death, sir.
That's fine, but you're still a dick.
Oh yeah, no, totally. I'm not denying that. That's not the point here. I'm just saying it made you laugh. That's the important part.
Your small penis does too.
Children's laughter.
Anyway, Jeff, I believe you had a recent news event that you wanted to bring up.
Which one's good, sir? There was a few.
Well, let's go with the possible successor to the Vita, aka Sony not learning their lesson again, to start off with.
Well, thank you for fielding the question for me.
History that never learned
It saves me
anything.
the trouble of going into it.
You can do the details of the supposed rumor story.
There are no details. There was there was talk of saying goodbye to the Vita and possibly making another one, even though they said this is the last one we're doing. This was really just an opinion piece on why the fuck they're doing this.
So opine, bitch.
Ooh,
What
good
does this have to
word.
do with werewolves?
What? Anyway, so
Rob,
So-
what are your thoughts on a Vita successor?
I think it's exactly like you said. They didn't learn their lesson from the fucking failure of the Vita. It's the difficulties they had with the PSP was bad. The difficulties they had with the Vita was worse. And if they're seriously, honestly considering a third handheld iteration, they're just kind of like, I like stabbing myself in the hand because
No, that's Konami. Let's
Yeah.
give credit where credit's due.
Let's not talk about Konami as of late.
Oh, we did that last week. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Thoroughly scathed.
What was it you said, Sean? Just wake up in one morning like, you know what? I've got enough money. I don't
I
need any more.
I feel like I have enough money. I don't need a single dollar more.
I've capped off, gents.
You know, my bank is actually telling me my accounts are full.
You cannot
I
money
cannot fit a single cent more.
But yeah, no, I really do think that if somebody is going to take another stab at the handheld market, they better get their shit together and figure out what the fuck it is they're exactly, one, going to do with handheld design, and two, what games are going to prominently feature on that thing. Because
Well, I think the whole point of the Vita was to have it connectivity with, the PlayStation itself and being able to
And-
play on the go, and then
fucking look
after
how
that-
did that turn out?
it maybe worked for a few games. I don't know. I don't have a Vita, so I can't say. But
It was-
there's maybe two
Sorry.
commercially successful games for the Vita.
It was kitschy at best. It literally was the definition of a gimmick. We will do this thing half-assed for a couple of games and then never touch it
They
again.
didn't-
because-
They didn't PR it at all.
Well, I mean, on top of that, it was just poorly. Not only was it poorly marketed, it was poorly done. Was it not?
It was powerful as shit, but I mean, what's power if you don't have, it goes back to
If you
marketability,
don't-
I guess.
Yeah, if you don't have the marketing, if you don't have the actual content behind, a substantial system, it's just you're fiddling with your dick, albeit a really powerful dick, but
That's one thing Nintendo's always excelled at was,
The thing
making people aware of their games.
the thing with the Vita,
tiny dick, but really usable.
the thing with the Vita is it's not a
For-
bad
keep
machine, but
Analogy.
it's a machine that doesn't really have a market at all. They delivered the console experience they talked about delivering. However, the thing with a handheld is you're either on the go and really don't have the time to sit down and play that much of, what a console experience would provide. Or you're at home, and then why wouldn't you just turn on the big screen and, play the actual console experience?
It's really weird considering how popular the PS4 is.
That's because it's an actual, home console experience. I mean, like I said,
don't
it's
know.
just what they put on the Vita was nice, but it doesn't work for a handheld. And therefore they created a product that, is actually functional pretty much to what they said it was going to be, but doesn't have a market, so to speak.
I know a couple people. I have a Vita, and I think you said you had a Vita?
I had one. I sold it.
He had one for all of
Okay.
10 minutes. He bought one,
The-
walked out of the store, looked at what was in his hands, came to his fucking senses, and walked back in.
No, it was a like
Smart
you said,
move,
Luke,
Sean,
It was,
smart move,
It was
I
a pretty
applaud you.
decent system, but the product they put out for it was just shit. I think, like I was telling Jeff the other day, I what's the word I'm looking for here, Jeff? Help me out here.
I can't see into your brain.
I basically scolded him about not knowing about Gravity Rush.
Yeah, Gravity
Which
Rush
was-
was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Which was the best game for Vita, and he was like, "Well, yeah, it was a shitty system." I was like, "Yeah, I'm not talking about the system. I'm just talking about the product." It was a great game for a system not a lot of people ended up playing, at least in the States.
Actually, you know what? You bring up a good thing. Is localization going to be a continuing issue for certain games in the future? Can you guys foresee?
It already is.
Yeah, I mean, do you foresee it being a serious issue for games that you really want to play?
I mean,
It depends on the market here, especially, because the main problem for a lot of games is we don't get, or they didn't want to bring over a few of the Ace Attorney games just because it's not as popular in the U.S. or they don't think it's as popular. And
yeah,
so,
we never did get Ace Attorney Investigations too.
and we're not getting the Great Ace Attorney either.
That's
It's
right.
like they pick and choose what they want to send us based on how they would perceive us liking
Well, I
it.
think the problem with that particular one was Dual Destinies probably did not meet expectations, which
That's true.
to be
But
fair,
that's Capcom's fault.
yeah, that's not Ace Attorney's fault. That's Capcom's fault for selling a digital game at a $40 price point without a physical one to back it up, because we're still not at that point where handheld players are going to be doing that. They should have just. They did a much better strategy on mobile later, as far as
I get
pricing
that
and
it
everything.
costs money to advertise, like commercials and magazine ads and stuff like that, but if you're not going to put in the time and effort to make a game and tell people about it, then probably don't make the game.
He's got a point.
That's a pretty fair assessment.
Yeah, but are you ballsy enough to tell the developers that?
Jeff, yes, he absolutely would. You just have to give him an audience with them.
Yeah, they don't listen to their market.
Like that's
They
half
can-
that's half of Sega's problem is they
Case in point, Destiny.
True.
The developers knew what the issues were. They just didn't want to listen to their fan base.
They were just more interested in prolonging their fan base to a larger update where they can make them pay money for fixing all of those problems, rather.
Yeah,
than
they were
Yeah.
looking at
fixing
they were
problem.
looking at the bottom line, which was money for them.
Mhm.
Which might have been
I-
an Activision thing too, but it was probably both.
Speaking
I
of,
hate to. Oh, okay, fine. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. But burst his bubble
Okay,
first.
Well, no, I wanted to say on Destiny. I hate to say it, but the Taken King is kind of looking interesting to me.
No, I agree that they
it's
finally
like
they finally
it's a
come-
masochistic thing, though. I mean, it's. I know how repetitive the gameplay is. Luke can attest to this. He's seen me playing fucking Destiny with no no point to it other than just endlessly repeating the same bullshit.
No, I haven't
I-
seen you play it. I've berated you for doing so.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's my point. That's my point. You've seen me on there and you've spoken shit to me. In a most appropriate fashion.
Most appropriate.
Yes.
Most
But-
good.
But it's almost completely masochistic because I know it's shit. There's no story to it. It's a repetitive nonsense
It's a
gameplay.
Skinner box.
Yeah. That's
It's-
actually a really good way of
it's
putting
it's
it.
the
Actually.
fact that they took over a year to fix all the problems.
Yeah,
then
uh,
had the
initially,
and then had the
and they-
audacity
Destiny,
to
and
charge
now they're-
for it.
now
and
they're
they brought
finally-
up a too little, too late thing
now
to
they're
try to
finally
appease the
fixing
fans.
their issues. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it looks as though there's some sort of content in that. But then again, it doesn't justify the $80 price tag.
Yeah, not in the least.
Yeah,
Speaking,
no, that's what turns me off the most.
speaking
on
of that,
but-
while we're on the subject of news, I don't know if you guys saw. There's a new witch hunt going on in Destiny, so to speak. There's a weapon that nobody actually knows the unlock conditions for the quest line, and people are going nuts over trying to figure out how to get it.
oh, what's it called?
That weapon does look pretty fucking
Silent something or other. I didn't care enough to remember.
cool though. It's that black one, right?
Silent farts.
Silent Farts is not the name of that weapon. Don't listen to Jeff. It's like the one that they gave promo art in the collector's edition of.
Hmm.
But yeah, there's apparently nobody's gotten high enough with this or that or whatever is a speculation to actually get it yet. So
Look, we all played it. We're all, for the most part, disappointed in it.
Mhm.
I personally just thought that the Taken King was not worth picking it up again.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I
That's
agree.
just me.
I agree.
It kind of piqued my interest again, like when I heard everything that was coming out with it, and I was like, oh, it looks like it might be a pretty decent game finally. I did a double take, and I was like, nah, I think I'm done
There's
now.
apparently like 14 more currencies from when we could play, but though, by the way.
Apparently, they make leveling up kind of fun too, from what I've heard.
Ah, well, that I'll have to see to believe.
Yeah, that sounds a little difficult. Do they
Like-
reward me with another game in my mailbox whenever I level up? It's-
No, I think when you get to like 40, then you can keep your gear, and I think you can just like add shit to your gear as opposed to always having to find
You're
new
supposed
gear,
to be able
something
to,
along those
able
lines.
to fuse your gear to break its limits, so to speak, from what I understand.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, what are you talking about? Ascending your weapon or that
No,
bullshit?
not that. That's something
No.
new that you can like actually fuse in pieces of gear you're not using to take it past the
You can keep
and to do
you
that,
can-
you still have to play raids and
Yeah.
shit over and over and over.
like
and
if
over
you
and over.
if you like a piece of gear's like attributes, you can keep that gear and you can like basically have your new gear like eat it or absorb it, and it'll gain those attributes.
Oh, okay, that makes kind of sense, I guess. But
Don't lie to the folks at home. It doesn't
Yeah,
make
I
sense.
don't fucking. I'm not getting what you're talking
You're
about.
more
but-
confused than you were 5 minutes ago.
A little bit, but oh well, fuck it. It doesn't matter. I'm not getting the fucking Taken King unless I somehow come into a windfall of money. It's
Just drops
just
on
not-
your
it's not worth
doorstep
it.
one day.
Yeah.
You would need a windfall of money, and have literally bought everything else you've ever wanted in your life. First.
I'm financially secure until pretty much the day of my death. Let's see what we do.
I guess I can get the Taken King
I
now.
guess I'll buy the Taken King.
There's nothing left.
Maybe. Fine.
I already had that facial reconstruction surgery, so I look just like Big Boss. I guess there's really nothing left.
How did you know?
I know you too well. But yeah, anyway, enough of shitting on the same devs over and over for making the stupidest decisions.
Yeah, you're gonna talk about Activision.
Do we really need to? I mean,
I don't know. You sounded
No,
like
you were gonna say something. Yeah.
no,
yeah.
no, I don't have anything to say about Activision.
Well,
Well,
Jeff, what was that?
that goes against what you said when you said speaking of Activision.
I
Yeah.
didn't say that.
I think he was going to trail off into nothingness.
Yeah, that's pretty much what was going to happen.
Oh.
Jeff, you did have another recent news-esque story, correct?
I guess we're just leaning on me this episode. I wouldn't say it's news.
So much as it's news-esque.
who's like?
I assume we're talking about. Well, no, okay. I had read an article about the. I don't know who fucking controls Call of Duty anymore, but they took out
Activision
the
and
single
Treyarch.
player for. They took out the single player for last gen consoles.
Ah, yes. So, I believe
It makes me laugh that you said, "Oh yes," like this is the first time we're talking about it. But that's insider information. Yeah. No, it's
I want you to know.
a
at
way
the
to
exact-
possibly assimilate players to buy new consoles.
Yeah, I like how you said that as if they're Borg. Just real quick, while I was saying "oh yes" in response to your thing, I rode D-Horse clean off a cliff and killed myself.
That's probably you probably deserved it.
It's what you get for not paying attention.
D-Horse was fine though. It was just me that died.
I've heard that falling
Thankfully.
damage in the Phantom Pain is a little bit ridiculous. Like you fall just an ever so slight amount and it kills you.
It's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
I haven't had too many problems with it, but it does seem like there's no increasing threshold. There's just like, all right, 4 meters, you're fine. 4.1 meters, you're fucking dead. But,
Yeah.
so yeah, back to Jeff's comment and what he brought up about removing features from older games to kind of push players to the new systems. It's almost the exact opposite of what they do at launch for new systems, where they remove features from the newer game because they don't know what they're fucking doing apparently, and force you to keep your old system so you actually get a complete game. But I don't. It's a sound business strategy, but it's still shady as fuck. That's my take on it. Like that's the simplest way of putting it.
I wonder what their PR was for that. Like what they're telling people they're actually like they're quote unquote doing. Because they got
Like-
that thing PR'd to hell.
Oh yeah. Well, I think it's weird that if it would come up in like a press conference or something like, okay, so what are we getting for the Xbox One and PS4 editions? Okay, well you're getting the story and you're getting the comprehensive multiplayer and a whole bunch of bells and whistles. Okay, what about the 360 and PS3? It comes with a box.
A manual? Are we still
Possibly
doing
a
manuals?
manual.
No,
I don't know.
manuals.
They stopped doing those. Okay. I've been told it comes with a disc. There is nothing on the disc, unfortunately. There's a title screen, and then it just wipes your hard drive.
I think it's a CDR.
It's like I said, it's sound business strategy to get people to move over, but
Kind of a shitty way of doing it.
well, let's be fair. There's a lot of shitty ways they do things in the industry. Case in point, Destiny.
It's almost like a free-to-play game. It's just like they'll give you a game, but if you want to play the game, you have to buy the game.
Just like Destiny.
Oh.
You could keep going back to Destiny all day.
I can. It's a perfect example of a lot of things wrong with the AAA industry right now.
Yeah, there's not gonna argue there.
I'm just
Part of the reason why I stopped playing in the first place.
playing Destiny or playing in the AAA industry.
No, Destiny. That and everybody moved over to another game. So I
was
did as
in
well.
Destiny. I was just tired of the fucking grind, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can
Yeah.
grind. We're all familiar with the grind. We've all grinded. We've all grinded, ground, been
Groaned.
ground.
Do you have any other fake adjectives you'd like to use?
Nah, we're good.
No, let him keep going.
but
Let him keep going. We'll see
It's
what he-
just grinding for the sake of grinding. I mean, come on.
To the
I may
mem-
be an idiot, but there is one thing that I am not, sir, and that is an idiot.
I'm really starting to get worried about this troop that we have here for the podcast. But no, I get what you're saying.
yeah.
The game being a grind for the sake of it just being a grind instead of having any substance or reward at the end. Because let's be fair, Vanilla Destiny did not have rewards or substance for all the grind that you did.
It really felt like they gave us a year-long beta just to kind of voice our opinions, didn't listen to the opinions, and then decided to release the full game, the alpha, a year later. Just like,
But you guys said you liked it broken and
Okay.
shit.
I love the analogy. I do want to point out alpha comes before beta, so they gave us, according to you, a worse game a year later.
Couldn't just
I
let it
forget.
go.
So
Okay,
yes,
Luke.
I mean,
Just couldn't let it go.
I forget what the full release,
Gold.
Gold. When a game goes gold, that means it's ready to be pressed, like on the assembly lines.
God damn. Sean is schooling you right
That's
now.
not a Greek word.
Sean is
It's
fucking
not.
schooling you right now.
I don't know, Omega.
yes,
goes
when the game
aluminum.
has gone Omega.
When the game goes aluminum, it's ready to go.
Double
Alpha, Beta Chi. I don't know, dude.
That's a fraternity.
Yeah, that's the point. You fucking idiot.
Oh, this is just a great
Fucking
one, Jay.
savage today.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, guys.
Slitting everybody's throats.
I think Sean's been playing a little too much Phantom Pain, man.
I'm actually playing Mad Max right now.
How you
I
like
thought
it,
we were
Matt?
going to say Madden Max.
You know, we never brought that up because you brought that during our time off, if you will. How do you like Mad Max?
It's a very what's the word I'm looking for here?
Gamey game.
refined experience.
It's a game for the sake of being a game. It's just really fun, and a lot of critics from what I've read either love it or hate it because there's like as soon as you get into the game, there's like 47,000 different challenges you have to complete.
I guess
But
we
I like
could
that
have
kind
brought
of shit.
that up for the whole license conversation last week.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. When they first announced the game, I was like, why? But now that I'm playing it, I'm like, all right, I guess.
Yeah, I had my doubts about it because it almost felt like, oh, it's coming out to coincide with the release of the movie or the DVD at least, and you know,
Yeah.
hopefully it's not just going to shadow everything Fury Road did. So, but apparently it did its own thing, and
Yeah.
Well, for the most part, I mean, it was kind of. It looks like it's its own thing, but it does still have certain elements from.
There's
Fury
there's
Road.
elements of Fury Road in
It's
it. Yeah.
ripped straight from Fury Road. Like the War Boys that are apparently the main
Yeah.
enemy in the game.
Pretty much, yeah.
Another thing, apparently, one of the biggest complaints I've seen about that about the game is not the mechanics of it, because a lot of people are comparing it to, or at least the combat to, how the Arkham series has played, which
Yeah.
punch counter that whole thing, all
Kick
concepts.
punch, it's all in the mind.
Shut the fuck up. But
I missed
they're
it.
saying really the acting has kind of gone to shit about a quarter of the way through, where nobody sounds really Australian anymore. It's just kind of more like, yeah, we're ham-fisting it. We'll ham-fist it the rest of the way. Didn't matter that you could tell I'm clearly from New York or like Iowa.
Joyzy.
Well, the
Yeah.
guy who does Max's voice is actually Australian. Kotaku did a whole thing on that one.
No, it
But
was
then
more
again, this is
complaints about the
Kotaku. They
support cast.
probably just looked up something like Australians. Okay, well the main character has to be Australian then. I know a couple of Australians. Put that in the article.
I know of a couple of Australians.
I've heard of Australia.
I may pick up Mad Max one of these days and try it out. Considering how much
There's a
I've
lot to
heard
do.
of it, not only from
There's a
not
lot
only from
to
you,
do.
but I heard a lot of it.
You
And
heard
for
a
the-
lot.
And for the record, it might seem like we don't respect Kotaku's journalism, and I'm using air quotes
Because we
right
don't.
here.
We
Yeah,
don't.
We
I was
really
gonna
don't. We don't.
I don't.
I was gonna say it's because we don't actually respect Kotaku's.
Fuck you, Kotaku.
All
say
they do
that
is
with,
take.
like,
All they
from the
do is
bottom of my
their
heart. Eat
It's
shit.
schlock journalism.
their definition of journalism is slapping a sentence on a fucking webpage and then posting a link to another fucking article.
Yeah.
to
That's
their
not theirs.
own fucking article.
That's
no.
called
They-
plagiarism.
They not
It's
only do they do that, but it's a
self-plagiarism.
recursive. It's a recursive sort of article linking. They link to an article that was linked to an article that was linked to their an article that is all encompassed on fucking Kotaku's site.
I guess
and just-
a sister site of Kotaku. I guess yeah, like
No,
Kinja.
No,
or,
not even
No, they
that.
link-
It
they
is
link-
all contained in Kotaku
Yeah, they
when
link
they're
to
making a point on
themselves
something.
constantly.
Oh.
And
So
they-
I was referring.
I'm going to source cite myself in saying this.
I was referring to them linking to other websites.
But it's still
They
within
do
their
that, but
immediate
or
not
YouTube.
as much as they do themselves. Oh yeah, YouTube, definitely. And you'd think, okay, there's certain news websites, not all of them, but there's some websites that, make their own. Like you'd think Kotaku would just make their own YouTube and then link to their own YouTube, but no, they just they go into YouTube, type in what they want, and then they make jumps to it. That's fucking lazy as shit. I'm curious
Yeah.
what they get paid, because
That's shit
if it's
journalism.
money,
Yeah.
Well,
if it's money at all, that's not fair.
the business model.
They better be doing this for fun.
the business model that they rely on is entirely dependent on click views. I mean, it's clickbait bullshit. And,
Yeah,
and Luke, I know, Luke, we've had conversations based
Oh,
on
yeah.
this before. So depending on what the page views are, it depends on whether or not they're a freelancer, whether or not they're a dedicated staff writer, if they're attached with the actual publication. What they get paid may be per word amount, or they may get paid per page view.
I'm
So-
curious. Yeah, I'm
Well,
curious what they
if it's
they
word
do,
amount,
'cause,
then they're fucking starving.
That's where the the volume comes in, where you've got to write so many articles about essentially nothing or just general bullshit
If it's their
in order
own
to
word
maintain
amount-
something of a decent wage.
If it's
I'm
their own
curious
word
about
it's
that
a
amount,
too,
shitty,
because
it's a
there
shitty
was-
model.
there was there's a website, and I'm not even gonna try to butcher it. I don't remember what it's called. That anybody can really sign up for, and anybody can write in.
Are you talking about
and
the
make
one
the-
that recruited both of us?
Maybe I don't know.
You
I
two
heard
were
it from
Kotaku
your-
writers at one
No, not
point?
for Kotaku.
No. There was. I honestly don't remember what the website
They
is.
could
but,
be. It's probably that fucking easy.
Basically, any of us could go in and put up a column or whatnot.
Yeah.
And so you could get money if enough people look at it and share it and whatnot.
Well, you're talking about
And I'm
Cracked.
curious.
Crack does that.
No, it's not cracked. It's,
No,
it's a
because-
legitimate thing.
Because Cracked does that, but Cracked actually has editors.
I almost
I know
wanted to say
Cracked
it
does
the
it.
Escapist, but I know it's not the Escapist.
Not the Escapist,
Well-
but it's one like.
Well, I know there's a vetting process where you will submit your article to either editors or to the community. At least, a la Cracked. Cracked does that.
Well, the
Wait,
site we're talking
yeah.
about doesn't actually do that.
Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about. You guys.
They
don't-
literally just post the article, and you get paid if it gets clicks, and that's it. There's no vetting.
But I'm
process.
So-
saying that because I'm curious if it works like that for Kotaku, if they get paid based on the site
the page
traffic
views.
and whatnot.
I'm fairly certain it's a similar model to that, where the amount of I know for revenue generation through advertising, it's the amount of page views that you get. That's for the business itself.
I mean, they can't be on salary. That
I don't know. So there are you have your editors and your managers who are going to be on some sort of dedicated salary for their work, but the writers and the staff writers, I'm sure there's fluctuating pay entirely dependent on what they submit, the content that they submit, because
I mean, Christ, they go through fucking editor-in-chiefs like every goddamn week, so...
They just
Their
keep the old ones out
editor-in-chief
back in a pen.
position's just like a revolving door policy.
It's more
Like,
like
this week I'm editor-in-chief,
yeah, I was gonna say
yay!
it's more like every week somebody else gets their shot at it.
Except Patricia Hernandez, who just fucking sits in the back of her cage and squeaks about
I'm sorry.
bananas.
Her cage? Wow, this
I'm
one's...
calling her a monkey.
I know what you're doing. This is just getting really bad, and I'm not sure I can post this. This one.
Look, unless I get a fucking cease and desist order, for defamation from the lawyers or something, I'm
If
not
you
gonna
get
fucking.
a cease and desist
I'm gonna.
order, I swear you have to upload that. I hope you do.
I don't know. And then I'm gonna keep talking about it.
Yeah. This one time I got a cease and desist order from
I'm sorry,
Kotaku.
what? No, what?
A cease and desist.
Oh.
It was written on the back of a banana peel.
That's
They,
right.
Come at me, Kotaku.
They etched it into a piece of wood from the very bottom of the barrel.
I mean, Christ,
saying
what
the
kind
bar-
of
the barrel
third
because-
world corner of captivity did they get her from?
Damn.
All right, Jeff. Let's stop.
I'm
This has
sensing a
been
bit
a
of
long time
animosity
brewing.
here.
I haven't said anything about Kotaku writers in a long time.
That's fine, but I think we've made the point. We can.
All right.
We
They
can-
are shite.
Patricia Hernandez smells.
Oh my God, Jeff.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
I'm
so what else do you
done.
have in the lineup
Christ.
if we cannot malign Kotaku as though they should be, though?
I think we've just maligned enough, and it's going from maligning into.
You know what? I maligned
Malicious.
your mother the last time I was over, and she loved it.
All right, well,
In
you
the
guys-
living room,
you guys,
in front of your stepfather,
you guys
with
just-
you there in the kitchen, if I recall correctly.
you guys decide on. My
She
mother
was laughing
you know
the
my mother
entire
listens to this,
time.
right?
Wide smile, grinning, ear to ear, teeth, beautiful teeth, just
I fucking missed
flashing in the fluorescent light of your
Well-
living room.
I'm gonna go. Be right back. So you guys decide on a topic.
He's gonna go hug his mother because I accidentally, triggered something.
So I guess in the meantime, Ron, since we haven't talked to you personally, what have you actually been doing with your time,
I've been
game-wise?
I've been game wise. So
I don't want to turn into like a history lesson or anything.
yeah, no, basically, yeah. I found out that my dad has actually been holding on to the N64 that I've had for like 20 years now. So yeah, I
That's
brought that
fucking
with
sick.
me up here, and yeah, that's seriously the only thing I've been.
I wish my parents hadn't gotten rid of mine when I was a kid.
Yeah.
They gave it to relatives for grandchildren to play, but
So, I mean, I was telling you earlier about the my inability to really play anything modern because I don't have the
Yeah.
the television. So I do have an old CRT television in my room, and consequently,
how's that working out for you?
well, I brought the N64 with me when I came from Texas to Massachusetts, and that's been working out okay. I've rediscovered the joys of Hybrid Heaven, that old Konami game that they released in the heyday of the N64 that nobody played and nobody actually knows about.
I was gonna say I don't think I heard of that.
Nah, it was one of those one-off games, sci-fi, sort of thing. Where it's sort of it's essentially think. Actually, I don't know whether or not this came up before Metal Gear Solid, but it's like basically Metal Gear Solid if you weren't punching, or if you were punching and kicking your way to the end. It has a really weird combat system, but I mean that's what I have right now.
Yeah.
That's all I've been playing.
What have you been playing? I missed that.
I brought my my Nintendo 64 from home to Massachusetts out here, and that's the only thing I've been playing because I don't have a television that actually can
Yikes.
that can play the one. Otherwise, I'd be playing more modern shit. But
What game were you just talking about though?
you ever hear of Hybrid Heaven? It was an old Konami.
Oh
game.
yeah, Hybrid Heaven
Yeah.
was fucking terrible.
Fuck you. Fuck yourself.
Just
That was
like
that's
that's like a
crazy-
lot of old Konami games.
I rented that shit. It was pretty bad. It wasn't like the worst thing ever, but it was pretty bad.
Yeah. Okay. I'll admit it was pretty bad. The plot, non-existent.
Plot? There was a plot in that game?
Yeah, exactly. But I always thought that the combat system on that was kind of like, okay, it's not exactly the most free-flowing system ever.
The combat was okay.
It's honestly, it's an RPG combat system. You pick which punches and kicks you throw,
Yeah.
and then you execute that. It really is a role-playing game by all definition of the word, or of the term. But I mean, it was still relatively enjoyable for what it is, and it's nostalgia. It's the nostalgia value.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to interrupt just now saying that the Russians saw me and tried to mortar me, and ended up blowing up their dude on top of a building instead. Huh.
Is that what you?
A mortar shell just nailed D-Horse. And he's in a wall. I'm taking a picture of this. Alright. Hybrid Heaven, it had a decent, the battle system, I agree with you on that.
I gotta
like,
go Google.
it's
Now
nothing
that I have a second.
everything was pretty...
It's
Everything else was
nothing
pretty bad.
special. I'll
Yeah.
admit it's nothing special. I'm sheerly playing through it for the sake of nostalgia, because I haven't touched that game in like 15 years. So, but
Well, at least you're not playing Destiny.
yeah,
Oh, the
Jeff-
box art looks familiar.
yeah. Jeff, what were you saying? What were we gonna do?
Oh, I said I had to go Google this while I had a second.
Oh, okay.
You had to Google it.
Wow.
He had to
I-
Google her Gusmorgity.
I had to grab some ghoulies. That's fucking. I don't think I could play that.
It's
That's
not.
Are you looking at screenshots?
That just looks
Yeah.
terrible.
So
What were you
Look-
saying last night, Sean, about the guy who threw out the idea for putting Grab by the Ghoulies on the Rare Replay collection?
Everybody else, they went around the table picking games to put in it, and everybody else had a good one, and they got to him, and he was like, "Oh fuck, what else is there?" GoldenEye, Tim. Everybody said fucking GoldenEye, and Perfect Dark. You have to pick something else. Grab by the Ghoulies. Oh, for Christ's sake! What else is there? Is that all we have? All right, fine, we'll put it in there. Not only is it in the movie, but it's definitely in the movie. If
know-
anybody's seen that Key and Peele sketch, you'll know what I'm talking about.
we'll put it in there, Tim. But when we lose sales, I blame you. What if it was like?
I heard that's been doing pretty good for itself, though.
What if that
The Rare Replay? I heard
yeah,
that too.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. What if like that was that dev's favorite Rare game or something?
That was nobody's favorite Rare game. Don't ever
Well,
say
then
that
I'm
shit
pretty
again.
sure he was gonna get fired because that's a
Yeah?
terrible,
Yeah?
terrible decision.
Yeah, you can just leave us hanging like that?
Luke,
Question.
and I'm pretty sure it's solely selling because of Jet Force Gemini, Perfect Dark, Banjo Tooie, Kazooie, and there's
Battletoads.
something else too. Yeah.
Question. So for this Rare Replay, I take it that they didn't add Conker's Bad Fur Day?
I think that's in there.
No, it's in there.
No.
Oh, it's in there?
No. Bad Fur Day isn't in there. Live and Reloaded is.
Oh God!
Oh,
why?
got it.
Yeah.
I'm
That
pretty
wasn't
sure I
bad.
thought I saw it in there.
Fucking
It's
Conker- no.
it's
Live
the-
and Reloaded is the same thing. It's just with
Yeah.
updated
Xbox Live.
and it's
Yeah.
also heavily censored.
Yeah, that's
That's true.
my point. It's a neutering. They neutered fucking
Conquer, yes.
Bad Fur Day. Now, admittedly, the N64 version was nothing spectacular.
It
but-
was a decent game that got a lot of
it was-
praise for what
Right.
it got away with.
But that's my point though. It wasn't anything spectacular in terms of gameplay, but it was fairly. It's dick and fart humor.
Now to be fair, the
Hold on,
multiplayer
hold
was
on,
pretty
hold
fun.
on.
It was
Hold
funny
on.
at the time.
Hold on,
Yep.
hold on.
All right.
I want to point out I never pass up an opportunity to prove Luke wrong. Conker's Bad Fur Day is in the game.
It's the Live and Reloaded version. I fucking had had the Rare Replay. It's the Live and Reloaded censored version. With the Live and Reloaded multiplayer. It might say Bad Fur Day, but it's not the 64 version.
Well,
Hey, don't blow,
I still
don't blow
think
your
you're
top,
wrong.
buddy.
Well, I actually fucking played it. Jeff didn't.
See, but I mean I guess they what did they use the Live and Reloaded version because it was more compatible
They used the live and reloaded version because they already had the assets from the original Xbox, so they didn't really have to do anything but spit polish it.
Yeah, okay.
Hmm.
That's understandable, I guess, from a developer
And they
standpoint.
didn't have to worry about running shit by sensors and stuff again, since they already had a version
Ah,
that already passed.
ah,
So they just fucking made a neutered version. That's
it's
cool.
lazy.
Hmm.
Okay.
Well,
That's 2 cents on that.
let's
one.
be fair. They pretty much got away with murder with that game originally.
Oh no. I'm not saying that it didn't have certain things that were the what the fuck bar was set pretty
Yeah,
pretty high for that. Um,
that's putting it politely.
yeah.
I
Because
mean,
there was
the
some
great
really
the great
shit
mighty
that-
Pooh alone.
Yeah.
God. Still one of the greatest
Memories.
opera solos I've ever heard. But still, um,
You hear a lot of opera solos, Ryan?
Don't question the man.
Man, clearly likes his opera. How about you fucking hop off his nuts?
Either way, in comparison between Live and Reloaded and Bad Fur Day, I feel that they should have gone with Bad Fur Day, especially since they had Perfect Dark in there.
Yeah.
You know, they've already been shown to use N64 resources.
Well, but
so
they already had Perfect
with the better
Dark. They had
option.
already remade Perfect Dark for the 360. That was a simple port.
Yeah.
So again, spit polishing assets they already had.
Okay, so it was more of practicality
Yeah.
rather than aesthetics. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I can.
And
I can
obviously
see,
they
I
couldn't use
agree with it, but I
any
can-
of the Donkey Kong games, obviously, because that's Nintendo.
Yeah.
And that was also why GoldenEye wasn't on there as well,
Mm.
because that's still in fucking license hell right now over who owns what.
Yeah,
Okay,
bad.
I'll pose a hypothetical question. Say the licensing on that Nintendo gives that up, and that gets put out into the open market. Who do you think would jump on that first?
Microsoft.
Microsoft would jump on
Microsoft,
that.
Oh, yeah.
they're known,
Especially since they picked up the Perfect Dark.
not only that, but they're known as like the shooter console still, even though they've gone a long way of getting rid of that image. So it makes sense for them to go for it, since that's kind of what they're still known for.
Okay. So if they released Perfect Dark as a port for the one or something like that, you would pick it up.
You mean GoldenEye as a port for the one?
I mean, yeah. Sorry, GoldenEye. Sorry,
no,
I've been
no, I would not.
you wouldn't pick it up?
No.
I would.
I wouldn't, for the reasons that we discussed in one of the very first episodes we did of this podcast. Perfect Dark, I picked that one up when they ported it over, thinking, yeah, we'll have some good times online on Perfect Dark. Turns out, that game does not hold up well, and GoldenEye is fucking older. So, I would not pick that up. It's really, really, and I hate to say it this way, it's hard enough to play Perfect Dark these days. I can't imagine going back further.
I would just pick it up from pure nostalgia.
And you would be the person they would
Nostalgia.
be setting that up for. Like,
Yep.
I don't mean anything bad by that. You would be the exact
That's-
target market.
That's the what was it, not constituency, but the consumer. That's a consumer model that they want to go for, the nostalgia.
Demographic is the word you're looking for. I would
Demographic.
assume.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I'm halfway through a bottle of SoCo. Give me a break.
You shouldn't have even started a bottle of SoCo.
Yeah. You should have started a bottle of Jim Beam.
Or not shitty liquor.
Blasphemy. This is good stuff.
Eh,
Anyway,
Southern Comfort's okay.
yeah. I just recently discovered it. It's new to me. It's good.
You are young.
Fuck yourself. So we've hit an hour in the Skype call now.
Yes, we have. I'm aware. I've got the recording time up right now.
Okay.
We
So-
still got time. Sean, you had pitched something to me, not the expansion one we talked about, but there was another one you pitched to me, and I've forgotten to write it down. Do you remember what it was?
Nope.
All right, beautiful. Ron, since this is your first episode back with us here, is there anything that you have seen in the gaming news or anything like that that you had wanted to talk about or question on?
Nope, none in particular. I kind of got my jollies off talking about the Taken King. But
I think the reason
I saw
they named
something the other day.
Okay.
Sorry.
I was gonna say I think they named it the Taken King because it was relevant to how they were trying to taking all your money.
Okay, here's what I want you to do, Luke.
That's cute.
I need you. No. I need you to listen closely.
I'm
Stand up.
already not listening. Just
Stand
want to
up.
let you know.
Stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Draw your arm wide to the right. Your right.
Mhm.
Your right hand. Draw your right hand wide to the right,
Mm-hmm.
and then as quick as you can, intersect your face along with the left hand travel. Move your right hand to the left as quick as possible and ensure that your face is along a bisect path. Because that was the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard.
I don't know if I mentioned this, but I stopped listening when you started.
Oh, I
That's
have no
pretty
doubt.
good.
Oh man.
Anyway,
I've missed
Jeff,
that.
you were gonna
well,
say.
hold on.
Jeff, you were gonna say before I so rudely interrupted you for garbage.
I read something that Konami may have inadvertently made Silent Hills the most popular game of all time by canceling it,
Actually,
which I thought was pretty funny.
Jeff, you bring up a good point.
That we probably covered, but go ahead.
Yeah, honestly, I don't fucking know what you covered, but okay.
Well,
so Luke,
if
tell
you
me
bothered listening to our podcast,
Holy shit!
I've been busy.
Jesus.
Okay.
The man clearly has a life, Luke.
Much
No,
to
he
my great
doesn't.
disappointment, but
you heard the man. He's stuck playing a 64. He doesn't have a life.
I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm living in the past.
Go ahead.
So, I mean, at this point, it's been definitively proven that Silent Hills is canceled because of the issue with Kojima and Konami.
Kojima
Yes.
Productions is canceled. Yes.
Okay. So, but the game in and of itself is kind of hanging in some sort of weird limbo. I'm guessing.
No, it's gone.
It is gone. Okay. Well, the other day
Didn't
I
you
did
see
read.
they released it in Japan already? It's that fucking pachinko machine.
Oh god. They have a pachinko machine for everything in Japan, though.
That's true.
That's not a path I want to go down on this podcast. So just ask
I'm
a question.
I'm not entirely familiar with what pachinko is exactly. So yeah, I don't think any of us here are really qualified to talk about pachinko.
Pachinko's like that one game from The Price is Right.
You mean Plinko?
Yeah.
Are you saying that because they sound alike?
No, I'm
Because
saying
you
that
don't know what
because-
you're actually talking
I'm
about?
saying that because Plinko was partially based on pachinko.
Okay, but
Yeah.
There's
okay.
no reason I actually know that, but
I recently read that aside from Guillermo del Toro, Norman Reedus, the trifecta of Guillermo del Toro, Norman Reedus, and Kojima.
and Hideo!
Yeah, Junji Ito was supposed to be attached to this project too.
Did you just have a seizure?
Junji Ito.
I don't know.
He's a really
Oh, Christ.
he's a really prolific Japanese horror artist. He's like the fucking Takashi Miike of horror manga.
That makes more sense. Go ahead.
So he was supposed to be attached to this project too, but I mean, if you're telling me it's now completely canceled, just if anybody's familiar with who that guy is and the horrible shit that he's made.
Oh no, I did remember reading that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff, okay. So it's just I feel that we missed out on it because of that bullshit that happened with Kojima Productions and Konami. We really did miss out on something I think is really was going to be horrifying.
Yeah.
And I'm
it-
curious
that's
why
right.
Konami decided to shoot themselves in the foot, because they knew it was weird that they just had put it on PS4, but I mean when
Because-
they took it off
because
there was a
Pachinko,
huge
that's why.
outrage of people saying, okay, it's never going to be available ever again. Okay. Did you just inadvertently make Silent Hills the greatest game ever never made?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting conundrum. Both Konami's recent attitude towards their business, and the what might have been.
Hey, Jeff.
I
speaking of-
want to know the reasoning. Like, no, I don't
Speak-
think Silent Hills is going to be popular. Really?
I'm gonna go with copious amounts of
I-
cocaine as the reasoning.
I think part of the fact was because the CEO of Konami at the time, and I'm not making this up, he probably wanted to kill Kojima. He hated him that much.
Jesus.
yeah, they
Uh,
were not friends if I remember correctly.
I mean,
Jeff,
the man didn't
speaking
even
of-
know how to fucking make video games in the first place.
Speaking of things that you are interested in, which you probably already know, but how do you feel about Takeshi Kitano in Yakuza 6?
I think
The
Jeff.
silence says it all.
I think
Hold
Jeff's,
on. No, I'm thinking. Who is that? I'm sorry.
Beat Takeshi or Takeshi beat.
Oh, beat Takeshi. Okay, yeah,
Are
yeah,
you
yeah.
fucking kidding me?
I'm
his
like,
name
I
is
swear to
Yakuza
his
6?
last name is Takano or
it's
Kitano.
it's Kitano.
Takano.
It's Takeshi
Yeah.
Kitano.
Yeah. That.
It's an odd choice.
You said
No,
it's
that
six?
lens. I think it's 6, right? What's the one that you're excited that's coming out here? Is it 5?
5.
Jesus Christ, dude! They're a whole game ahead.
Yes.
Well, they're working on 6 now, which will probably not come over here either.
He lends a lot of credence to
Things.
Japanese mafia shit.
Oh yeah.
I thought maybe that would rustle your jimmies.
No, that's actually news to me. That's actually kind of neat.
Hmm.
Maybe they'll make it as hard as Takeshi's challenge, but
With that most extreme elimination challenge.
No, the game on the NES, Takeshi's Challenge.
Oh.
That is literally there's like one specific sequence of events to actually beat it, and it's very finicky.
probably the best. If you
Go
don't
ahead.
actually feel like playing the game, the best way to do that is watch the JonTron video of
Yeah.
Takeshi's challenge, because he actually literally writes to him saying that it's ruined his life. But
He writes to him saying, "I beat your challenge. It ruined my life. What are you gonna do for me now?" Basically. What are you sending me over here on Skip? Ron, why would you do that? Seriously, Ron.
I
what-
just, it's one of those things that I just found. I have no explanation for it. I'm sorry, Luke.
He sent me a picture of Boss's head on Quiet's body with Boss's abs.
Oh, that's not Quiet's body.
Oh, that's not Quiet's body? Whose body is that? That looks like
Oh,
Quiet's
were
body.
you're gonna have to look in closer.
I'm not downloading the picture. Look, it's Boss with a fucking bikini top on. That's all I need to see to know I'm not interested. What the hell are you clicking on now?
What? You can hear that? Oh,
Yes, I can hear that.
no, nothing.
We're having
Carry on.
We're having audio call problems right now. Somebody's dropping. I think we lost both Sean and Jeff, actually.
Oh, shit. How are we losing them? I'm the one who's on a wireless connection sitting in a basement.
Might be due to Xbox.
Due to the fact...
They're
Oh.
on their Xboxes, and there was some core service problems going on earlier, so it
Oh.
might be affecting their quality.
Well, they're not saying anything, so I'm
Well, that's
it's
because they're
probably-
not connected to the call right now.
Well, then it's safe to assume we lost them. So,
Well, they're not completely lost. It's trying to get them back. You know what I mean.
yeah.
Anyway, we can stop talking about this because people know how Skype works.
Yeah.
Lost them
Servicing
right in
you-
right in the middle of a very good conversation too.
What about it? About Big Boss on
No, but beat Takeshi, that one.
Well, I gotta admit, I've never actually played a Yakuza game. I have one of my
Really?
friends.
They're good games, man.
I know one of my friends back in Hawaii.
And Nam.
In Nam, yeah, I left him in Nam. He was playing Yakuza 4 when I left him there, just bleeding out in the jungle floor.
That doesn't sound far off from the truth, to be honest.
But no. One of my friends in Hawaii is a huge Yakuza fan. So I'm wondering if the release of this information, I'm wondering if he actually knows, because he'd be stoked if he found out that Beat Takashi was going to be in Yakuza 5 or 6, whichever the 6. Sorry.
Yeah, one of them.
No. So, but I mean that's cool. So I should. Man, I really need to make the effort to actually play that thing,
Yeah.
or
pretty much.
to play the series. Yeah. So okay, here we'll start on that. What would be your suggestion to start? Which game should I start with
Ooh,
for your suggestion?
3.
there you
Start
go.
with 3. All right.
Sean, are you also here? Do you have any input on this, or do you just not know Yakuza enough?
Yakuza? No, I don't play them.
Oh, that's a shame.
In my opinion, just my opinion, humble, be as it may, those
It's not
games-
humble at all.
those games to me, they look very generic.
Pedestrian.
Yes.
I will say this because I wasn't sold till 3. I played the first and second one. I hated them, hated them. And then 3 is the one that sold me on the series, and then 4 was even better. And I even like Dead Souls as even if
You
it's
would.
not. It's
What,
very arcadey.
What was it? And you may have discussed this while I was away. What is it about it that you like so much that keeps you coming back?
I think I've said it before. It was the absence of Shenmue before Shenmue 3 got announced. It had a lot of shit to do, a lot of stuff to keep me occupied instead of just doing the main story and everything. It was not quite a sandbox game, but there was enough side stuff in the game to keep me well interested. And and it was very likable characters. Very,
Well, that's a plus.
I wouldn't say rare, but yeah, that's my 2 cents.
That was a long 2
Alright.
cents.
Well, no, I mean, he still raises a good point.
Look, I'm trying to sell the man on a game. Of course, I'm
Yeah.
gonna fucking put in more than 2 cents, possibly 3 cents.
All right, rein it back.
Aren't those
Rein it back in.
Canadian pennies though? They're only worth like half of what ours is.
Canadian shekels.
Kroners.
Fucking kroners. Swedish all of a sudden.
All right, that's enough.
But yeah,
There you have it, Jeff's Guide to Yakuza.
All right.
I don't know if that was really a guide, but
No, when I get the opportunity again, I'll start with 3. So as per your suggestion.
what
per
system was 3 on? PS2?
3.
Ah,
The first 2 were on 2, and then 3 and 4, and everything else was on 3.
Well, there you go.
Hmm.
So, Jeff, you kind of got cut out there when we had our audio problem a second ago, which Ron and I very openly commented on. What are your feelings on the whole Beat Takeshi in the next Yakuza?
Oh, I basically just said that's news to me, but that's really cool because.
I caught that. I just didn't know if there was.
It's a good
anything after.
influence.
Well, you're certainly
would there
not a
be
good
more you would
influence.
perhaps like to add?
I would assume he's
If
one of the
not, that's fine.
kind of villains of the series, so that would be
He
an
does.
I
interesting
think
interaction to be able to
I
talk
think
with
he
him.
generally plays villains in his movies, yeah,
Well,
generally.
he was the villain in
or anti-heroes.
Battle Royale.
Yeah. Usually plays like a cop or something, doesn't he?
A lot of the time, yeah.
The scene I remember most about him, which was weird as fuck, was in Battle Royale when they shot him a bunch of times and he died, and then he basically
he
got back
gets up,
up and grabbed like the box
grabbed
of
a
chips
cookie.
or something. Yeah, and sat down and ate one and then died again. Me and my dad were
Fucking
watching
badass.
it. Me and my dad were watching this for the first time. We were like, "What? Wasn't he dead?" And we were like,
Kind of
"Yeah,
slumps
I think
on the
so."
couch eating a cookie, just like. Okay, all right, I'm going.
That's a very very Takeshi thing too. That was definitely him who came up with that one. Also, I told Jeff after I read the manga, which I had not read the manga until very recently, he cleaned that character up a lot from the comic. That was a much
Oh yeah,
more, he was a much
the guy
more
in the manga was a fucking sexual deviant.
Yeah, he was.
I think at one point he, to rile up, I want to say Shuya was his name.
Yeah.
To rile him up, he told him a story about how he went to their orphanage and then raped and killed their mom. So.
Well, the surrogate, but yeah. Or
Yeah,
whatever
the
you call it,
surrogate.
the foster surrogate or whatever. But yeah, it's he cleaned that character up a lot. It still made him a little reprehensible, but
You still wanted to hate the guy, but
Yeah,
not
but-
because, he was a frog-faced rapist.
that is very accurate to the comic portrayal. Your description.
Yeah, if you haven't read the Battle Royale manga series, do it.
Just don't do it in public because it's definitely not safe for anything outside of your very locked down, closed bedroom.
That's odd and
I'd say I
Strangely,
love the movie, but the
questionable.
manga was way better.
The manga was way better. I do love the movie though.
Was it a book before a manga or a manga for a
Manga
book?
first.
It was a
no
Yeah.
book first.
it was a book first,
Yeah.
then a manga, then a movie.
How do we get on this subject? How did? Oh, right.
Beat Takeshi and Yakuza.
Yakuza 66, right.
And in case you guys weren't aware, folks listening at home, Jeff really likes Yakuza. So that's an interesting phrase to take out of context. There's a text tone for you guys. Whew. Anything else that you guys want to bring up? This could be a rather short episode if you'd like. I mean, we are over an hour already, but you know.
I was light on the
I can't
news.
think of anything.
Yeah, it was a light week mostly. So, other than once again talking about how this company or that company screwed up, we really didn't have a lot to bring to you. So, all right. Well, on that note, as always, you can find the YouTube channel if you haven't found us through it at youtube.com/special set of skills. You can find various live streams at the one we stream this on when Roger's fucking available is twitch.tv/ggrogerv. You find Jeff's live stream at twitch.tv/subliminalseg. You find mine at twitch.tv/rockingmonk. And
You'll never find me, coppers.
you'll never find Ron or Sean because they don't fucking stream.
Nope.
And then the Facebook and the Twitter and all that I'll actually just put in the description because that was way too much to read off last week. Sean, any final thoughts for your loving audience?
Check out Soma for PC.
Now, how is that? Did you get a chance to play it?
Yeah, I played it and I finished it. It was pretty unnerving.
That's okay.
Very, very, very intense.
Is it like a bunch of campers in tents?
No, it's like that's cute. It's a little bit like Alien Isolation,
Okay. Being hunted, that kind of thing?
more or less. Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
That's all I got. Yeah.
All right. Jeff?
Spay and neuter your pets.
Help control the pet population.
Ron, what are your final thoughts for the folks at home?
I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know if you're ever going to see me again after this. So,
Like, on the podcast or in person because you're drinking yourself to death?
I'm not entirely certain. Something will happen. I'm not entirely certain what will happen, but something is going to happen.
All right. Well, we'll get you on the next one then for sure.
I will try to be there.
And yeah, and I'm gonna echo the sentiments from last week. Check out the Phantom Pain; it's enjoyable. Don't rush. Don't beat down the doors to check out Rainbow Six Siege. It's definitely not a door buster. And Jeff and I next week will have some thoughts for you on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5.
Ooh, I would like to hear about
Interesting.
that.
Are you serious? They're still making that shit?
Yeah, the new one just
Yeah.
came out this week. Jeff and I are waiting for it from GameFly.
Good luck.
Thank you for that lovely
Like
response.
I said, I'm not expecting much.
I'm
was the
expecting the world.
What was the last good Tony Hawk game? Like American Wasteland.
I was
right?
going to say the last good one.
Was American Wasteland that
The last good one was
Probably American Wasteland.
the last good one was 2.
I heard good things about American Wasteland.
No, I meant Pro Skater 2.
Oh, Pro Skater. Yeah, I just meant Tony Hawk game.
Oh yeah, no. They were okay. I wouldn't. They're good, but they're not Tony Hawk good. They're of less quality than the rest of the series, but they're not bad games.
They're Hawk.
I think I'd
that's the
rather
one-
have it than
American
always skate.
Wasteland is where you can create your own character, right?
Because that solves everything, John.
No, I'm
No.
trying to remember the right one.
I'm
I
pretty,
thought Underground did that.
I'm pretty sure it's
No,
American
Underground.
Yeah.
Underground.
Yeah,
is what I was
Underground.
thinking.
Yeah, no,
The first
Underground was fucking
Underground.
phenomenal.
The
Under-
first Underground.
It
Yeah.
was again okay. I
Oh
did
boy,
not
here we go.
hold it in as
I
high
could
as
hear
I
you
was
pushing your
supposed
glasses up when you said that.
to. Are you gonna use that every week?
Allow me to fix
or
my
are you
fedora.
gonna come up with a new fucking phrase?
No, I'm gonna use the same one.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think they were bad. Like I said, they weren't of the same quality of the earlier games in the series. So.
You like that bullshit rush you for 2 minutes kind of objective grabbing thing.
Um, it was more focused.
Well, yeah, but the Underground series was more,
Yeah,
open
here's
worldy.
the thing that happened with Underground. Two things. Like, by losing focus, a lot of the I forget what you call them. The routes the through the stage weren't as clean. So comboing was yes more on the player, but also you had to flub a lot for it instead of having like clean lines. That's the word I'm looking for. Clean
Uh,
lines to it.
well,
Secondly, and I know this is more of a personal
I don't know. I
thing.
feel like every area was its own contained map, so it wasn't really like a problem with
Um, yeah.
connectivity or anything.
The other thing was, and this is definitely more on me, was that as with like Skyrim and other such games that are more open, when you give me that much room to do a lot of things, I end up doing nothing. So
Mm.
Much like your Phantom Pain playthrough.
look, just because I've been playing the same fucking level since we started the podcast, that's not.
oh my
That's a
Case
god.
in
testament to
point.
what you just said. Yeah.
I'm just.
I rest my case.
I'm gonna shut up
Good
now.
night, everybody.
Yeah. Anyway, next look for our Tony Hawk thoughts next week. Other than that, I don't think we have anything else. So
Well, that's my mama.
uh, on that note.